Howdy, Beeflabart here, and welcome back. It's kind of picking up from where we left off on the last stream. I will change the name of it later. As a quick recap, we'll talk about the actual game concept of what we're actually doing in this. Okay, this is real life stuff we're talking about right now. Okay, is in real life by the year 2024, NASA and other countries' space programs are going to be sending people to the moon, including the first woman going to the moon. Cool. But primarily, there's multiple reasons why they're wanting to send people back to the moon. Of course, the scientific aspect. Yeah, we all want to know more about the moon and what's going on with the moon and that kind of stuff. And I didn't do a lighting build, so I'll do that while we're talking. There's that. There's a scientific aspect of going to the moon and being able to do more scientific learning and cool stuff, learning about the moon. That's awesome. Love it. That's a great aspect. But there's another big reason why so many people are wanting to do this. And Elon Musk, the owner of Tesla cars and other stuff, he's planning on coming to the moon with or without the help of NASA. The owner of Amazon also is planning on coming to the moon. Between the two of them, I guess their main reasoning is tourism, to get people to the moon to say, hey, I've been to the moon. You know, like, hey, I've been to the Mount Rushmore, or I've been to the Grand Canyon, or I've been to wherever, you know. I've seen the Eiffel Tower, or I've seen whatever. You know, people want to go places not just because they're cool, but also to say, hey, I've been there. So yeah, there's going to be the tourism aspect. So you might be able to book a room at a hotel on the frickin' surface of the moon and fly to and from the moon. The moon's closer than going to Mars. I know that certain of these people say, hey, we want to colonize Mars. Well, you really need to figure out what the hell you're doing first, so they're going to colonize the moon and be able to have staff living there and run these hotels and that kind of stuff. But there's another aspect of what's going on with the moon is samples that were brought back from the dozen missions that we sent, the multiple missions that the Russians have sent, and they've been valuable, very valuable with information of what's going on there too. Between all the other agencies who have sent, and even China, so we're not going to exclude any countries' involvement in what's going on here, because a lot of people are contributing to it, a lot of countries are contributing to it. But they found that there's the surface of the moon is rich in titanium and other precious minerals, so therefore there's going to be a want to be able to harvest the materials and harvest these things for the Earth market. So yeah, they're going to want to actually do some mining. I'm sure they're going to be strip mining on the moon as part of the colonization. So there's going to be that. And to be able to colonize the moon, there needed to be one specific thing that we needed, a source of oxygen. Well, the percentage of oxygen in the air is so minuscule that you're not going to be able to breathe when you're on the moon, so you have to wear a spacesuit. But it would be really, really helpful if there was a source of water, which you need water to drink as well. But the whole concept is, if there was a source of water on the moon, then we could separate the oxygen from the water and have a source of oxygen to breathe, water to drink. So that's two of the things that we need right there. Well, thanks to, I believe it was the Russians, that found it, was that near the poles of the moon, north and south pole of the moon, on the fringes of and in the dark side of the moon, is ice, water-based ice. So you can take that, you can heat it up, you got water. Water, you could separate the H2O, you could separate the hydrogen from the oxygen and have oxygen to breathe. Well, you can also have hydrogen to use as a fuel to burn, but you're still going to have to inject oxygen. I mean, whatever, we're not going to get totally into a physics lessons here, but if we have ice that's water-based, we can filter the water. We have drinkable water. We can also convert that water into oxygen that we can breathe, and hydrogen that we can use as a fuel. So what we are as a player is we have landed on the moon in our basic orbiter, and our lunar module that we have is just very stripped down basic. This whole project here is the prototype project before I actually start building an actual project based on this. So what we're doing is we're building the conceptual items that we need for operating things. So we would assume that we would have airlocks coming into our nice little facility here. Yes, we can see that little pipe sticking through. I'm not worried about that. It will bug me, and I will move it in just a second. So we come into our module. We'd actually want a floor in here, so we're standing on a flat floor or whatever. We're going to have a certain level of gravity while we're on the moon. So we've adjusted the gravity so we kind of float a little bit. But when we go inside of our lunar lander, we have a way of getting our oxygen. So we can increase our oxygen output and achieve water. So let's actually grab this, and then, like I said, it's going to bug the crap out of me. And I'm going to scale it a little bit smaller. Not quite that small. And I am going to Control-C, Control-V, so we'll have two pipes going through here. Yay. And there's much rejoicing. So one's going to be the fact that we're piping oxygen back into our unit, and we're pumping in water that we're getting from this as well. This is our prototype, just prototyping meshes, static mesh for our oxygen generator. So it's going to be pumping oxygen and water into our module. So now we have a source of water that we can drink and oxygen we can breathe. We've got our health bar, and we also have an oxygen bar. You can see the oxygen bar is going down. So as we're out here moving around, using up oxygen, that's it. We can come over to this and grab oxygen from the module directly, or the generator directly, or we can come back in here. We can also, as we find other ice pads, we can actually deploy our own oxygen generator and be able to generate our oxygen from there. So, that being the concept, we're going to move on to the next thing. We're on the light side of the moon is where we're setting up our initial landing so that we can get out and do our exploration. So, we're going to assume that our lunar landing module also, at a certain time, we'll be able to call in a lunar rover, which is just going to be a moon buggy we can drive around on. Keeping in mind with the storyline, the fact that real world, by 2024, they're supposed to be sending about a dozen people to the moon. And we are, quote unquote, going to be taking that storyline of what in real life is happening and running with it. So we're going to have semi-normal, what we can think of is going to really be going on. So technology-wise, we're not going to have lasers and all kind of weird stuff. We're going to have stuff that can conceivably be made within the next 5 years in real life. So that's what we're kind of aiming towards. So we're going to have, Elon Musk, is planning on coming and being part of this as well. So we're going to have the Tesla M100D or whatever, the Tesla moon buggy, and it needs electricity for us to be able to move back and forth. It's going to be an electric vehicle. So our moon buggy is going to be electric, and we need a way of charging it. So we're going to build a solar charging array. And to start off with, we need solar panels. So we got everything good to go on this. We're going to switch out to the build map so we can actually create our static mesh that we need. And these are, again, how I make my prototypes. I'm going to take BSP geometry. I'm going to go into, I'm using starter content just so that I can have basic building materials. So later on I'll probably end up using another asset pack made by somebody else, or Cindy Studios asset packs. So we need a base. for our module. We're assuming that everything has that brushed nickel or burnished steel or chrome look because, for some reason that gold look for insulated properties, because the moon doesn't have a magnetic barrier like Earth does to protect it from solar radiation. So I'm going to use gold, say that it's a thermalized box or whatever, and I'm going to make my base. I'm going to go ahead and put this at 0 and 0, so it's easier for me to put things down. I'm going to scale it down to 100 by 100. So this needs to be changed to 50. So it's sitting directly on the ground. Yes, for right now, I know that this is going to be, the bane of my existence of setting and keeping the pivot points correct. So we'll just deal with that later in the blueprint. So let's actually make it even smaller. Let's make it 50 by 50 by 50. And then we'll change this Z height location to 25. So it's sitting on the ground. And then we'll need a burnished steel cylinder. Yes, I'm going to use all BSPs because you can't combine BSPs with static meshes when you're doing it this way. The outer radius is going to be 10. Z height, we'll just leave it at 100. We'll change the side just so it looks a little nicer. Make it 12. We'll change this to 0 and 0. And we can play with the height as we need to after we build the next part. In fact, I'll go ahead and cut it in half and just make it 100. So again, I'm just going to grab another one of these, which was the box brush. Control C, Control V. And I'll make it even smaller. We'll do it in half, 25, 25, and 25. Then we'll do burnished nickel. Do a box collision. We'll set it 0 and 0. So we'll make it look like an actual solar panel, sort of. I'm just going to make this, the X is going to be 10. And the Y is going to be, whatever. We'll go 300. Z height. Screw it, let's make it 150. We're not making super awesome, cool, wonderful things. We're just making something that's going to get us by. And for the sake of it, rotate it about 40 degrees. That's good enough. Then I'll click on this face and change the material to that. And there. We have our prototype for solar panel. That's our mesh. So now all we got to do is grab all of them. I'm actually going to change to my mesh folder. With all these selected, I'm going to, I'm not even worried about doing collisions on this, so we're just going to let it ride. I'm going to create static mesh and call this our SM underscore solar panel. Go to my asset folder, mesh, create static mesh. But I will open it up, go down to, by doing it this way, we can change these materials as we need to. Our general settings, I'm going to change this to 256. Light map coordinate index going to 1. And screw it, might as well. We'll set up a basic collision. So now we have a solar panel that we can walk over and check it out, and yay, there's much rejoicing. So we can do this a couple different ways. We know that for right now, well, I don't need you there anymore. Dump you out. And I can go to my gadgets folder and do a couple different things. Well, first off, let's go ahead and save all. Save selected. So we're good on our map. Everything is saved. We can actually go in here and create a new blueprint. Actor BP underscore solar panel. We're in it. I'll go back to here. Go to my mesh folder. Select the solar panel. And add component. Static mesh. And there we go. And just because I am who I am, rotate it 90 degrees so that it's facing a specific direction. And we know that the pivot point is absolutely screwed up because I didn't care. There's some other precautions and things we could have done to fix that. But now if we do that and that, grab our gadget for our solar panel, drop it into the map. Let's actually go ahead and rotate it back. Screw it. If we look at it, it's sticking into the ground a little bit, and that can be okay if you want it to be that way. I'm going to raise it up. I'm actually going to do it like we did before, and that's good enough. Compile and save. So, in theory now, we have a blueprint for our actor that we can now put into the map itself. If we want to, we can just put them in here as statics and pretend that they work and do whatever. But we're also going to want this to be a functional one. So let's go ahead and go to our event graph. Make sure we got it saved. I have nothing selected. Event begin play. It's the only thing we're probably going to use. We're going to go ahead and do power level, and we're going to change this to a float. There'll be reasons for that later instead of an integer. So event begin play. Another thing we also want to have is a custom event charging. So the charging custom event, what we want to do is on begin play, we want to get a reference to our power, which is 0. And then we want to set power, but what we're going to do is do a float plus float. And we are going to give it 10. We're just going to exaggerate things for now. We'll worry about rates later. And then we'll run a delay. You can set it up as a timer. You can do all kinds of different things here. And every second we're going to get 10 on our power level. And I'm just going to loop that back around to here. And then on event begin play, we're going to charging. So it'll start charging. So in theory now it's going to work. It's going to build up a charge and we're going to get our power level. There's other things we can do with this as well. We can create a cool little thing down here as a display, or we can have a widget that sits over here that's always facing us or whatever else. But if we come in here and add another component of a text render, charge, and I'm going to put it on this side. Now you could do this a bunch of different ways. I'm just going to change this to say 100. Is that going to be visible or not? Nah, it's just too close to the edge there. Change my snapping. want it to be just visible. I'll turn my snapping back on. On our font stuff here, what we're going to want to do is vertical alignment, horizontal alignment, center. So we can center our text up on there. And we want, let's see here. Probably better to set this up as a freaking widget, but I don't feel like setting up the widget and all that stuff right now. I'm just going to look see if there was another way of doing this. And hell, if we need to, we can do event tick and all that stuff too, but as we're charging, we want to set the text of what's said here in that. And setting it up as a widget is a better way of doing it. We'll do that. Since it is a text, let's see what we can come up with here. Set text. And we'll have to include this in here. And the delay after that. That will then go into here. This value needs to go into here. So we have a toText variable. All right, so we'll just drag that back over to here. You can see the text is changing based on its charge rate. So there we go. Get up to 100. Bang. We got 100. We don't want it to keep going, though. We don't want to have 150%. So all we're going to have to do now is, before we can do our delay, we have to cap it. We can clamp it, or we can do whatever, but what we need to do is, actually we're going to end up running a branch. And I'll come back to that in a second here. What we're doing is, with this branch, is we need to get this variable here and make sure that's not above 100. So we'll do a float. If float is greater than, and we can create a variable called max charge if we want to, but whatever. We're never going to go above 100, so just do that. Move this over so we can plug that into here. Alright, get out of the way. We'll get you in a minute. So if it is true, then we need to set our power level to 100. Which we could have used max charge, in that point as well. So if we are greater than 100, set it to 100. So it's going to constantly, and this is not the best way of doing it. It's probably going to be less than optimal, but we'll go from there. So at that point, we can then, we're setting the text, and one way or the other, we still want this to go into here. Plug that there, we'll plug that there, and plug this back into here. So that should cap it at 100. So now if we look at our solar panel today, please. Thank you. Infinite loop. No shit, it's an infinite loop. Oh. Because we didn't plug in the delay. So you can go back up here. Now you can get plugged into the delay. And the delay gets plugged back into the first set node. Moved it too far out the damn way, I couldn't see it. So 30, 40, 50. Our percentage is climbing. We get to 100, and it should clamp there at 100. So now we walk over here, and we can put that same whatever on all four sides. But that's fine. This is, again, prototyping. We're locked at 100. So now if we come over with a vehicle, we set up a charging system and everything else. But for now, we know that our solar array is going to be working. I'm actually going to reduce this number to 1% every second. This is something you'd want to set up to match your happiness level. We're going to set it up to get 1% per second. And there was much rejoicing. Alright, so dump U, save selected, go to our main map. So this is what I do, is I sit here and I build the basic concept item, and I do one object at a time. So now, wherever I place these in the map, they're going to work. Yes, I realize I just put that in the shade. So I'm going to move it over here where it's not in the shade. The sun's not in the final position anyway. And that's the good thing about it is, and the bad thing about it is, you're on the light side of the moon. It's always going to be light out. You're always going to have the sun, so it's always going to be able to charge. But our primary harvest zone is going to be in the dark side of the moon. So we're going to have to set up machines that run off of hydrogen. So now if we come in here and we see, oh, okay, we got solar panels, and I can see the solar charge on it. I can see that they're charging 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. So since the bottom is going to act like a battery, we'll think, come over to our solar channel or solar panel. And if we're drawing a charge off of it, then to recharge a battery or a solar vehicle or whatever else, we can set up a battery bank, and we can set up all kind of different other features. But we just wanted this to be able to create a solar energy level. Same thing when we're doing with our oxygen, is we can do the exact same thing from our solar panels onto our solar generators, so that we can actually see the percentage of oxygen. So let's take a look at that really quickly. So we know that this is how we did it. We created a charging and then went from there. So let's take a look at our O2 generator. So we need in our viewport, we need our text, our tank capacity, tank fill, whatever. We already have an oxygen anyway, so our tank fill is going to be the number that we're applying to it. And I am going to go here, save that, go back to my build map. I'm going to drop an O2 generator out. 0 and 0. I said 0. Ask around. See, our text is right there. So I am actually going to... We're going to be looking at this side. I'm going to go ahead and rotate. 180. Center justification. And we're at negative 50. Let's try a negative 51. That should be good. You need to be 0. Stop being an ass. And whatever. Symmetry, let's bring it down to 150. So now, if we look at our dealio, it's hard to see because of the freaking material that's on there. Again, prototype, doesn't matter. You know, if we want to, for right now, we can change the color. Let's try red. That's not much better. Let's go with blue. Why the hell didn't you change? I said blue. Hell, purple might work. No. Again, not super important on a prototype. We're just going to run with blue. It's probably even worse. Screw it. Going to leave it white. So, the same basic principle we did on this guy. We started setting up here. We're going to go ahead and just get rid of that delay for now. We're setting our oxygen here, and then we'll basically need to copy the same system right here. We're going to need to clamp it down. So let's go ahead and do that next. So we're going to get this and say float if it is greater than 100 in a branch. We need a branch, thank you. And you need to be connected in there. Get your ass here. So, now, if it is greater than 100, then we need to, if true, we need to set it to 100. So we're clamped down there, and the next thing we did is set our text for our charge, and here we go, run our delay. So in that, we need to get our tank fill reference. We need to set text. No. Set text tank fill. I don't need you because I already have one. Screw you. Connect that to there. We need that to be a thing. Alright, so no matter what, we need that to happen. And then we need our delay. Would you get your ass back up there? Of 1 second. And again, plug our delay back into the beginning of that. So generate O2. It's going to generate 10. You know what? I'm going to change that back to 1. So we're going to generate 1 oxygen per second till it gets to a maximum of 100. Compile and save. We need an event begin play. And regenerate. What the hell did we call you? Generate, not regenerate. Generate O2 on event to begin play. Compost, save, and alright, it's kind of hard to see on that material, But we can see the number is scaling up. It's going to keep generating. Our player is losing oxygen. So here's where the next part comes in, is we need to be able to take oxygen from that oxygen generator. So for now, let's go ahead and turn this back up to 10 so it charges quickly. And we need to come up with a method of taking oxygen from our O2 generator. You can see 30, 40, 50, it's going to quickly climb up, and we'll max out at 100. Alright, so what's we going to do now? We got to be able to take oxygen from that. What is the best way to do it? Set it up all here, or all in the player, or a little bit of both. We're going to get all actors of class, and we need to set a variable. So we're going to need a player open one way or the other. We need to say, oh, can we generate oxygen or something in our player character, or we're at a O2 refill station, or what have you. So we know we got our outside, that's working. That's on our startup stuff. This was just spawn O2 generator. That's lovely. So again, one of the things I'm going to do really quickly here is I'm going to create a new category. Temp stuff. And then I'm going to go ahead, because I was working on the temperature stuff, because when we get into other parts of this, our character is going to be dealing with cold as well. So we need temperatures. It's cold, medium cold, or freezing. So we can set up multiple different rates at how we lose or gain temperature, or what have you. So by creating a new category, we can hide those in there. Again, we can do the same thing for our oxygen or safe zones and shit like that. So I'm going to go ahead and create at O2 fill. So we have this variable right here that's a Boolean. Are we at it? Yes or no. Default is going to be no. When we're at this, we then need to add O2 fill. We need to set it. And as well here, welcome back. And we'll just grab this, Control C and Control V. Make sure we check that. Go ahead and connect that, and that. So now we have a variable saying, hey, we are currently at an oxygen fill station when we're at this, okay? So since we are at that, there's the next conundrum again, is we're fine, and this is going to be okay, and we can deal with this. We might have to worry about other stuff for replication later, maybe. We'll test it as we go, but what we need to do is, when we're at that, we need a O2 fill, okay? So spawn our O2 generator, that's fine. We're using the F key for that. Let's use, I don't care, let's use the keyboard 1. So we press the 1 key and use that for spawning our O2 generator. Because I want to use the F key as my primary. It's right there. I can smack it really quickly. So it's my function key. So we're going to function of, we hit the F key, or we can use E key, or Control Shift 4, or whatever the hell you want to set it up. I'm using F. F it, I'm using F. So we press the F key. We need to ask, are we at an O2 fill station? Well, then we need a branch naturally. And if we are at a O2 fill station, then we need to... Oh, this is going to be a pain in the ass. My brain hurts already. We want to refill our oxygen, but we want to take that oxygen amount, but we need to find out how much that one actually has. So we need to get this variable from the particular one that we're at. So there could be 5 O2 generators. So I'm actually going to take this one and Control C, Control V, so we have a second one here. So now when we look, we got both of them generating, and if we walk over to this one and we take 50% off, we need to take 50% away from that number that's on there. So so here's where we can set up a local variable on this, perhaps. Let me try something else first. Get all actors of class. And the actors that we need is going to be BP underscore O2. Why does it say none? Get all actors of class. The actor is... Seriously, this is an actor. It is right there. It is a damn actor. Why are you being an ass? It's right there. I type whatever. It's right there. So yes, we're at an O2 station. Get all actors of class. O2 generators. So yeah, let's go ahead and set up a variable in here. Player present. I don't care about the spelling. I don't need the spelling police to be here. Let's compose, save. This is a local variable. We're going to set it true. And right over here, set it to false. And then we can run all that stuff. All right, so we've got a local variable set up in here. We know that we need to check then. Let's see, get see, this is where my brain goes to crap whenever I'm setting these up. Because we know that we're asking, we need to check to see if there's a player present. We can't just go directly from that, the out actors, from this. It won't let us do it. And if we get from here, now we can get player present. We can get it from the get, but we can't just get it from the actors. So we need to verify that there is a player present from it. This is probably the wrong way of doing it, and I'll probably change this about 15 times until I figure out how to do it correctly the way I want to. So then we can get oxygen. So we're getting the amount of oxygen that's currently in there, And we are going to, this is where it's good to actually have different variable names. This is oxygen, and this is oxygen. It may get confusing. We are going to set the oxygen in our player to our current oxygen. This is really, really, really where I should probably stop and say, okay, go into my O2 generator and change this. And just put in gen oxygen. Compile and save. Now if we look, it automatically changed it here. And we'll change this to player oxygen. So now we have a little bit of more clarity. We're setting our player oxygen to the generator oxygen plus and I don't like this already. I already hate it because I'm seeing a problem. I'm setting it to, yeah, we need some different math. This isn't going to work the way that I want it to, because if we just add this and this, if there's 100% in the generator and 100% on our player, we end up with 200%. We're going to end up setting the, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get a set gen oxygen, because we need to plug that in there. Whereas we need to set that value, and I'm just going to break that link for right now until I get my math figured out here. I don't like math. It makes my brain hurt. And our player oxygen. So we need to get our generator's oxygen level there, and we're going to end up setting it. So what we need to do here is we need to, when we press the F key, verify that we're at one of those stations, and if it is that particular station, we need to be able to refill my oxygen level. We need that math. So the player oxygen level is normally set at 100. If we only need 20 from the oxygen station, when I press the F key, I only want to take that much out. So in theory, what I need to do is move these guys out of the way until I figure out what the hell I'm doing. Hope you guys are happy. My brain hurts thinking about this shit. Get my player's oxygen. And I know that I need to do a float minus float. And this needs to be 100. Shit. Yes. I think I know what I'm doing here. 100. I'm going to subtract no. Going to subtract my oxygen level from 100. Okay? So we're clicking along here. So what we're doing is we're subtracting our oxygen level from 100, and that's going to give me a value. It's going to say, and I'm going to say 80. We're going to assume that my oxygen's at 80. I want to subtract 80 from 100 and get, this is the amount of oxygen that I need. All right? So wherever I hook this up to is the oxygen amount that I need. And now I need to compare it with the oxygen level of what's in the generator station. So I need to ask is, so the question we're going to ask is float, is it greater than or equal to, so is the generator here, so I'm going to go ahead and move these down, so this is here, so now we need to figure out this and our branch again. So now we're physically starting into the oxygen fill area. So we're checking to see if our probably, but don't confuse me. Damn it. I'm thinking. I'm old and my brain's fragile and there's already smoke coming out of my ears. So I'm thinking about math here, and that's what's causing my brain to hurt. So this should be at least amusing for me to suffer through doing basic mathematics. So we're you make me lose my train of thought here. So we're getting the amount of oxygen in the generator, and we're going to check to see if it is equal to or greater than what this number is. Okay? If it is true, then we're going to you're fine. You have to imagine how my brain thinks, and the fact that I'm old and fragile and sickly and haven't been feeling good. So yeah, it's just, I don't like math, but I like doing this stuff. It keeps my brain alive. So this is the kind of shit I sit there and think about. It's so pathetic that I have freaking dreams. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, aha, and I sometimes have those aha moments, and 80% of the time they're wrong, but you're having problems when you wake up and you are thinking about Unreal Engine 4. That's whenever I stop doing videos for about a week or two. So we've checked our oxygen tank that we're standing next to. We've verified that there's enough oxygen left in the oxygen tank for me to be able to get oxygen out. So I need to retrieve this number from that number. So now I can subtract. So we need a float minus float. I need to subtract this from this. Oh God, here's more math coming. And I need to set my oxygen to that plus that plus. Okay, I think I'm just about there. So again, this is how I figured this shit out. Is I will sit there and say it out loud multiple times. I'm not just saying it out loud because I'm streaming. I'm just saying it out loud because that's what I do. So now I am subtracting how much I need from here. Oh God, then I have to think of, I'm taking X value out. If I'm only taking 20%, then I need to reduce this number from this number and set that. So that's what I'm doing, is the amount of oxygen, when I take my oxygen minus 100 and I get this value, this is how much that I need. This is also where it comes in handy to make as many freaking variables as it is to make it easier. So what I would say you could do, and I probably should do, is create oxygen needed and make this a variable. You can always just drag off from here and click on promote to variable, and poof, you have a variable that this is how much I need. So I'm subtracting how much I need from how much is available, and that's how much I'm physically taking. Okay? But then now I have to set what's left in here based off of this value minus this value. So I'm going to need another float minus float. So I can take this value away from this value and set that oxygen tank back. Okay, and now I then need to be able to set the variable in of how much I physically took from there, which is here, and I need to add this in. So it's a float plus a float. I'm taking this value plus this value equals this value. Now you see why my brain is hurting. And even if I'm going to go back in later and do it a different way, I still have to understand the math involved in what I'm physically doing. And this is probably wrong. And I'll probably end up getting pissed off and deleting all of it. But this is the math that's involved in what you have to think of the process. So I'm going to break it down one more time before we go in here and test it to see if it actually works. So what we're doing here is, if I hit the F key, if I'm not at an O2 fill station, then nothing's going to happen. But if I am I'm going to get a reference to that particular fill station that I'm standing at and verify that I'm present. So now here's where I'm going to take oxygen. I'm going to get the amount of oxygen in the oxygen generator, and I'm going to check to see if it is equal to or less than how much I need. How much I need is based off of my current oxygen number subtracted from 100 is going to connect to here, which is now the needed amount of oxygen. This is how much I physically need. So as soon as I hit that F key, it's going to automatically subtract what I need from what's in the generator. Okay, so we're covered all the way up to here. So now I need to be able to take the amount that I need Oh no, am I in the right location? For here, I need to take the amount of oxygen that I need from the available amount of oxygen there. So we're going to leave it like that. That should be good. And I'm going to set how much is now left in the oxygen tank, the oxygen generator. And then I'm going to upgrade how much I took by adding it to how much I currently have. So, okay, my brain is severely hurt. We have 0 oxygen for some reason on my player on this map. Don't know why. Why don't I have oxygen? Player oxygen starts at 100. Why don't I have oxygen on this map? What in the hell? We're going to save this and come back to the other map. I don't know why my player has no oxygen now. Yes, I have 0 oxygen. What did I frickin' break? The outside thing is fine. It runs off of begin play. I didn't... See, again, this is where my brain starts hurting is... for some reason, it's deleted my oxygen count. I have 0 oxygen. Why? I didn't do anything. What the hell? Alright, I'm going to I'm going to break that. Nothing else should be affected right now. Where the hell is my oxygen? I didn't break that. What in the hell? Yeah, why is that there? No, that right there is fine. Outside in safe zone. Why is? See, now I'm confused. It's in safe zone. Okay, yeah. If I'm in the safe zone, that's fine. Um, yeah, that's still good. I didn't make any changes to that. That's still good. It should, since I'm not in a safe zone, um, my oxygen starts at 100, no matter what. Um, outside, true. Yeah, this was working just fine. I didn't change that. All I did was I created this method here of checking to see, and nothing's going to work until I press F anyway, so I can leave that connected. That shouldn't be a problem. And that's spawning the O2 generator. We don't need to worry about that. Outside. I don't know. I didn't change anything there. So I'm going to go ahead and just shits and grins here. I'm going to go ahead and throw in my mini pod. We know that it works. Come over here. We go inside. And still, I have no oxygen. I did not physically change anything in this. My default player oxygen is 100. And when I changed the variable name, that changed it across the board. It's nothing that I needed to change here. See, this is where, when things start breaking like this, that was working fine, and then suddenly it's not working. Why did it break? This is not going to do anything or affect anything until I press the F key. So that's not a problem. This was working just fine. Whenever I'm in a safe zone, true, then it sets my oxygen to 100. If I'm not in a safe zone, then it's going to set my oxygen level to whatever it was minus 1 every second. So that's fine. That is working as intended. Let's just verify that for some reason it didn't break in the widget. And that's what it apparently is doing, is it broke in the player HUD widget. Look at the graph. Player oxygen divided by 100 is going to return back to that. Yeah, player oxygen. So this bar is blue. Why did it? No, that's fine. Yeah, it's right there. Percentage is get player oxygen. It is, and I'm going to just temporarily remove it and get player oxygen. I'm going to just plug it back in again. And it's going to run. We don't need the temperature right now or health. It's going to run this. It's going to cast to the player, get a reference to the player character. It's going to get my oxygen level, divide it by 100, and print that number out. So I just removed the node and put it back in again. So now it's working. Why did it break? Why did I have to remove the binding and put it back in again? That's all I did was I removed it and put it back in, and it just suddenly started working again. Unreal Engine 4, why you vex me so? So we see we have 100% there, and we need oxygen. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to hit F, and it automatically filled. Oxygen generator. Add O2 fill, everything. Okay, so what did it automatically? It automatically regenerated. I took it and let's let my O2 go down. Yeah, my brain hurts. So we got 100% at the station. If I come over here, it automatically filled. I didn't hit the F key, and it didn't take the number away. And then I hit F, and it just totally stripped the number away, and didn't take it away from there. Spawn O2 generator. And I didn't put anything in here to automatically strip from that. So this is not going to function in theory. And it's going to fall back to not that yet, because whenever I overlap into it, it's then saying, okay, I can do that. Event begin play, we're generating oxygen, so that's delightful. That's all fine. I'm running the outside. Everything else was working correctly. So whenever I leave, it runs that again. And that's the issue right there. Perhaps. No, because I'm going to let that go down. As soon as I walk into it, it should not automatically give me oxygen. But it is. It's automatically filling me up to 100%. Not box collision. Whenever I walk into it, it is saying, it's setting the variable that I'm in the safe zone, and I'm at a fill station, and I'm setting that the player is present. These variables aren't hooked to anything other than, am I at it? But that's off of only if I hit the F key. I didn't even hit the frickin' F key. So like I said, this is why I do this in a temporary project that is not the main project. I don't work on a main project until I know that a feature is 100% where I want it. And at this point right here, it's not functioning the way that I want it to across the board. So all this is not having a chance to work. None of this is having a chance to work yet, because for some reason, as soon as I walk into the radius of the O2 generator, it's automatically filling me back up to full. And this is, when I step into it, this is what runs. Cast to the player. I tell the player to change its variable to, yes, you're in the safe zone. I could, let's get rid of that one, because we don't care if we're at a safe zone or not. We're at an O2 fill zone. That's all that matters. Safe zone is not important, because safe zone is going to be our other building. So that's probably what's causing the issue. And now I'm hungry. Was starving earlier, sat down to eat, ate only a small amount, and I just can't eat anymore. So I walked away and put the rest of my food in the fridge, and just suddenly now I'm hungry. And just about bedtime for mommy, so I'm gonna have to go make sure she's okay and get her in bed. So now if I walk into this, it does not automatically fill me. That's what I wanted. It's not automatically refilling. So if I come over here and hit F, not a damn thing happens. So in that case, that's fine. Here is where thanks. But I have some chicken Alfredo with baked ziti sitting in the fridge. So I'm going to go heat that back up. Maybe throw some more cheese on there. Block up the old butt pipes. I like cheese. I'm lactose intolerant, but I love cheese. So add O2 fill. So I'm going to ignore all this crapola for right now and break everything. I could, in theory, break all this stuff here and start breaking down with print text to find out where the issue is. Am I present? Yes. Then I can do all this mathematics to set my player oxygen. So, here is, like I said, print text is your best friend. So what I would do here is drag first off from here, and do print text. So we're just going to see hello pop up when we hit the F key. If we see the word hello, then we know that it's partially working. So hit F and it's not getting the hello. So something is not jiving here. It's not getting to this branch node. So it's getting all actors of class and it's asking is there a player present. If the answer is true, then that's that. So I'm going to have to come back and break down this part right here. And it was the get a copy. I could probably do more breaking down for each loop, and then drag this up here, move this stuff over so I have room. So now connect this, you asshole, stop moving, this into here. Once completed, it goes to here, and I'm getting array element, I'm getting this information from here, here, and here. So I can dump that, and I can do that. So now let's try this method of seeing if we're confirming the character presence. So hit F, we should see hello. There we go. And totally broke my freaking health. So now I know that my math is wrong. This is wrong. But at least I know that I'm there. So if I come over here and hit F, nothing should happen. When I'm close to this, if I hit F, yeah, screwed the pooch here. So I need to revisit all of my mathematics here and redo all of this, because I need to essentially, the basics of what I was trying to accomplish with this screwed up math is I'm trying to set my oxygen to how much oxygen I took from here, and that's what I got to do. So I will figure out that mathematics. So we didn't get to the other thing that I wanted to create, which was the I'm gonna come back to this. We didn't create the hydrogen oxygen separator, but essentially that's going to be the same as the oxygen generator. Let's go back to our moon base. So here we see that we're generating oxygen from our ice pool, and we have our solar generators are both charging up. You create a battery bank and connect both of these with a battery, with a cable. Oh, you could set up cable actors, whatever else you want. But come in here, refill, go back out here. We're all good to go. If I press 1, I can spawn an oxygen generator. And see, the math didn't change. It didn't work correctly. So I'll fix that. Let me out. I'll figure out that mathematics. Like I said, I'll probably wake up in the middle of the night and say, aha, that's what it is. But I need to go tuck Mom into bed and take care of her. I've already made sure that her potty chair is cleaned out. Yes, whenever you grow up and you have kids, you're going to have to change diapers and, make sure they have their bath or shower or whatever else, and they have something to eat and take care of all the other stuff. But as you get older, then you revert back to your childhood stages, to where you have, babies can't walk too easy. They're frail. They might fall down, that kind of stuff. Not so, babies are resilient. Their bones are not as fragile. But as soon as you get old, bones get fragile, and you start resorting back to the same old stage of either needing a diaper or, babies have those little things that they push around so they can start getting their balance, so they can learn how to walk. Yeah, as you get older, you need shit to hang on to, like a walker and cane and wheelchairs and things like that. So, yeah. Much worse changing the diaper on a grown-ass man or a woman than it is on a baby. Tell you what. No, it stinks whenever, the baby formula poop. No. Okay, whatever. How about a grown-ass man that just finished Taco Tuesday? Yeah, we won't compare diaper capacity limits here is what we're talking about. So without being, too much more gross, yeah, I have to take care of my elderly mother because, it's my mother. I love my mother, and she took care of me whenever I was a baby, and she changed my diapers and took care of me. So, you know what? Love you, mama. Love you, daddy. Take care of the ones that took care of you. Whether it's your grandma, your cousin Betty, or whatever else. Whoever took care of you, whoever raised you, that's your mama. Take care of them. Love them and take care of them. So I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go take care of my mama. And when I get back, I'll fiddle fart with the mathematics, or I'll just close this son of a bitch down and go play something else. But, if you want to see some of the concept of some of this, we're doing, our own variation. But a game to check out would be Breath's Edge. I've done a couple videos on Breath's Edge. Breath Edge or Breath's Edge. Let me check just really quickly. The Green Man Gaming, I've put a link in the description of all my current videos that is to Green Man Gaming. If you purchase a game through there, which you should be going there any damn way, whether you do it from me or not, I prefer you do it from me, is it's a good place to save money on buying games. I don't know if it's on there or not. I swear I thought I got it from there. Nope, maybe not. Okay, but yeah, if you follow the link to Green Man Gaming and you want to buy a game from there, you're going to save money anyway. But use the link in the description of my video to get there, and I will actually make money from you saving money. You save money and I make money, so that's a good thing to do. If you're going to buy a freaking game, go to Green Man Gaming first. Forget all those other places to buy games. Go through there first. If they've got the game, get it there. If they got the best price, definitely. Usually they do. Get it from there. But Breath's Edge is on Steam. Hell, I don't even have Steam loaded, which is unusual. It's because I restarted not too long ago. But Breath's Edge it's a very funny game made by Russian developers that have a really good sense of humor, and you're in outer space and you have oxygen levels and your temperature levels and things of that nature. It's an inexpensive game, so it's worth checking out. And it's one of those games where it's fun to play for about 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 8 hours, and then whatever. So as we're refining this project here in this game here, then for sure you want to improve. Close, go away, fuck off, go away, close you, because my email address has not changed, meaning that somebody has been trying to frickin' steal my shit again. Every day, there's at least a half dozen or more attempts for people to steal my frickin' Steam account. If you're one of those people, I'll kill you. But yeah, Breath Edge. Apparently I haven't played in a couple of weeks, but essentially it's right here on Steam. Worth checking out. Inexpensive. Kind of fun to play for a couple hours. Other than that, it's in development, so it's not completed anyway. But they just had a big patch not too long ago and added more content. Just recently, I think they added some more too, but do some research also. Look up the stuff for about going to the moon in 2024. So yeah, well, not very much longer, and we're going to be sending people to the freaking moon. So that's where I'm drawing inspiration from. And yeah, if you guys want me to finish this game, if you want to help do something on this game, or you just want to see more on this project, let me know. I try to base the videos on what you guys want to see and what we're doing. I kind of like the concept, and I'll keep screwing around with it. I'll fix the oxygen generator so that whenever you go to it, you actually get the correct amount. I'll fix that math. And then, like I said, we've already got the solar panels. We'll set up a battery bank so that yeah, I think it's going to be a fun project. I think it'll be a fun game to play once it's actually done, or get to a certain point. We'll start looking at like assets from Cindy Studios, or get somebody else to also make some actually decent stuff, because these are just temporary placeholders. I mean, hell, it took me a minute to make this solar panel, another 2 or 3 minutes to add functionality to it, so it's actually charging and shows a charge amount on the base. But what if you've got 2 of those plugged into one battery bank? They're going to be charging, and whatever. Worry about having additional charge rates, and thinking about the storyline of how do we get more modules here. I don't really like games where you go over here and I have a pickaxe and I harvest this rock, and now suddenly I can build a solar panel. How the hell are you going to turn a rock into a solar panel, or into a building or something like that? So my thought process is And I need to probably just do another video where I'm not trying to build anything and just 100% spit out the full storyline. And I need to be writing it in a text file as I go along as well, because proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. The 7P method. Knowing what you're building, I know what I'm building. I know what I want. I want moon exploration game where you are the advanced party looking for a major ice field or an ice lake so that you can configure, and this is like a tiny one that's good enough to get you rolling. Then I put like another one over here. This is still going to be considered a smaller size. You're going to want to find a large area for settlements to go into, because you got to have, blah, 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 blah. And I'll do a separate video probably another day where I'm actually just talking about the concept of the game. And I think it's going to be fun. Start doing some crafting instead of doing building, where you're because I don't think you're going to take moon dust and moon rocks and quickly convert the titanium over and be able to make sheet and steel, the girders and supports and tanks and things like that. So I think that what it is once you've achieved a certain threshold or a certain point or whatever in the progression of this is an adequate area for a titanium harvesting zone. So now you need the ability to run a small harvesting facility here to pay for the other stuff, to be able to do whatever, and the catch-22, because you're going to need the ability to have food, water, electricity, or power. So we're separating the hydrogen from the oxygen, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I will cover this in another video. I'm spitballing. Love you guys. And not just when it's cold. So, thanks for watching. Hit me up on Discord if you got ideas for this project, what you think would be really cool on this storyline. And I will create the full storyline for this, and hell, I might just start a slow production on this, just more than what I'm doing right now, but just actually make it into a functional thing. I will look over the Cindy Studios assets and probably do like the sci-fi and sci-fi space and bring those in. Just see what I need to for assets-wise for the things that we're going to need, like our oxygen generator, oxygen storage tanks, battery banks, solar panels, communications arrays, your different modules and so forth to live in, your greenhouses to your composting and everything else. Please don't use my name in a mention. That's one of the major rules on my Discord channel, is no use of mentions. Yeah, that's like the number one rule. Remember, I'm old and grumpy, and this medication's making me even worse. If you look at the server rules channel, welcome. Set is broken down in section, blah, blah, blah. Comments in the wrong section will be deleted, and right there. Do not for any reason use the mention feature. It's just a courtesy thing. It annoys me, and I have banned countless people for failing to adhere to the mention policy. So just throw your link. I'm gonna see it. You put a yeah, you see it now. I got you. Did anybody post anything? Whenever I'm streaming about Unreal Engine 4, I have the general-UE4 channel open on its own separate monitor. It's on a 32-inch monitor. I can't help but see it. So I see what comments are made there, as well as the my streaming software is on the left monitor. I mean, it's over here. So I see chat on there as well. And then I've got the main monitor, naturally, what I'm actually doing. So I see what's going on all around me. And I've mentioned before, I've done videos on my computer system here, is the left edge of the left monitor and the right edge of the right monitor, the distance from there is 7 feet across. I can't touch the left edge of the left monitor and the right edge of the right monitor at the same time. My arm span is not long enough, and I stand 6 foot even. So, all right, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go take care of Mama. I will be watching Discord, and I got a bunch of other stuff that in different channels that I got to keep up with, and I'll check out all these other things. But yeah, let me know on Discord if you want to add to this project or you got suggestions for it, and I'll do more videos on this project as I get more things built into the thing. And bonus extra credit if you can tell me in Discord what Blue Harvest, where that came from. I don't care if you cheat and Google it, but I prefer if you didn't. But yeah, let me know in Discord if you know where Blue Harvest actually came from and why I can't use Blue Harvest realistically for the name of this game. So I'll still need a name for the game, and yeah, I need names to replace. I'm not going to use Elon Musk's name in the game. I'm sure he wouldn't appreciate that. So I'm not. But we need an Elon Musk character because Elon Musk is, he has the cars, the electric cars, the Teslas. So we need our moon buggy to be a Tesla product, so to speak. So he's going to be the creator of the electric portion of it and a big financial contributor towards this project. Same thing with the this is all. Yeah, I see what you're putting in there, but remember that I see where you're going with that, and the order of the actual thing was wrong because the first one became the fourth one became the what. The fifth one became, yeah, I lost with that, but yeah, you're there. I see where you're going with it. So, but yeah, so we need that Elon Musk character. We need a name for him. We need the owner of Amazon is also planning on doing a lot with the project of going to the moon, so we're gonna need that kind of person too. And I believe it was Empire, not Jedi. You might want to Google it too to make sure, but because I did that to hide the name of the movie so that people wouldn't know that they were working on a sequel. So yeah, so we need that kind of figure and maybe a couple other big name financials for metallurgical companies for the titanium portion of it, because there's a lot of titanium on the moon. And we'll come up with the other minerals of why other people are going there to harvest and that kind of stuff. So hammer out more of the storyline, and then we'll also be hammering out the functional portions. Like, okay, we need the actual pods for the greenhouses. Another one for composting, so you'll have like the latrine section where you take a dump and pee, and that stuff and the food waste is all combined together to make compost, to make your soil to grow with and nutrients for your plants and stuff. So you got to have like the latrine / composting pod, the greenhouse pods, the dining area pods, have multiple pods and have linking sections to go between them, and like walkways and stuff like that. Remember, we're on the moon, so we have gravity, so that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can go into it, and I believe this is going to be a good, fun project, and we'll go from there. Well, thank you guys for watching, and keep in touch on Discord, and we will see you soon.